I can't defend the comments if he's being serious, but if he's trying to draw attention to the fact that Balenciaga is a Nazi brand, that should be brought up. That's something that's been swiped under the rug. Alex probably hasn't heard of this story.
Nope.
I didn't know that it was a Nazi.
Yeah, look up the origins of Balenciaga.
Let's see this.
Ball.
I only knew Balenciaga was
You told me to read up on the Twitter files, not
Yeah, we're into the
Balenciaga.
Twitter. I didn't expect.
Balenciaga.
I don't even
put
know
out.
who this is.
They put out the clothing line. They put out an advertisement that had children in bondage, right? Or
What's it called? SBM.
They had bondage bears in the picture with little kids, like
That kind of the kinky sex where you dress up in like whip shit.
yeah, like bondage, like leather straps and shit.
Like gagging
kinky,
yourself.
kinky stuff.
Yeah, so
They had kids dress up in it.
Oh.
no, they had like a teddy bear, I think that was.
Oh, yeah,
dressed
so
up
yeah,
in it.
a
And the
teddy
kids were
bear
in the
dressed in
picture
it.
with them. The kids were still though in the picture dressed, or they were acting like in sexual ways and all that shit.
Well, don't ask me to defend that.
No. And that's the thing. Nobody is, but it's also not being covered. Everyone's getting worked up about Kanye's comments, but they should probably be more worked up about.
That this happened.
Yes.
What were Kanye's comments?
I don't have a clip of it because it was so bad. I'm not playing it on our hairs. Where do I plug this in at here?
Give me up.
He went on Alex Jones and went on a rant.
Kanye did?
Kanye did. This is a couple weeks ago now. Just saying that he loves Hitler. Hitler wasn't a bad guy. Hitler would like Yeezus apparel.
And
the whole
it
time.
made Alex Jones be like, "Whoa."
Alex Jones is trying to be the voice of reason.
Yeah.
Walking him back, being like, no, you don't mean that.
It's kind of scary.
Yes. And he did the whole thing with a mask over his face, so you couldn't see him.
Kanye.
And this was a Balenciaga. They sell like $4,000, $5,000 merch. Like it's a really
Yeah, it's like a
up-end-
high-end
Is this like
brand.
Gucci?
high. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like in rap
Yeah.
songs and stuff. Like they sing about this brand.
Yeah.
I see. I thought you were talking about a person.
They're trying to blame, I think, the photographer, or whoever came up with the idea of the ad.
In one of the pictures, there's the legal case against the distribution of child porn
Okay.
showing on the, like in the ad.
Yeah.
And they don't know whether someone placed it there, whether it was someone speaking out going, hey, this is wrong. I
Yeah.
don't know how to say it, but it all got pulled back. Kim Kardashian got the whole family got involved. It was
boy.
a total disaster
Why'd the Kardashians get involved?
because they support the brand.
Oh.
She was just about to do like a
Like a
promo
for
modeling,
'em.
yeah. And it's like all of a sudden, and then that's where Kanye jumped out. Balenciaga kicked Kanye off for being anti-Semitic
I see.
right before this scandal happened. So Kanye was taking like a victory lap. It's like, oh, I'm anti-Semitic. Look at you, Nazi, Hitler loving. And maybe I'm giving Kanye too much benefit of the doubt there. When I reported this story last week, I didn't understand the mask. I thought it was like something subconscious. He knew putting his face on this would be a bad idea.
Would be a bad idea, yeah.
Apparently I think he thought he was being funny. That all has gotten swept under the rug though due to the Twitter files.
I see.
The Twitter
so
files.
that's where the Twitter files come into play here.
The timing is odd. and
Wasn't this already after Elon bought Twitter, though?
Well, yeah. The deal is Elon bought Twitter about a month ago, and now he is publishing internal documents about how they handled censorship
Right.
leading up to the 2020 election.
Yeah.
He's done it rather strategically too, because he started out by just showing like some of like the swag that they have in the facility that was just like in closets. So, like stay woke shirts and things like that, and they just slowly like has increased the level of
Like what he's
bias.
releasing. Oh.
Like he keeps hiding it. He's doubling down. Because what was today? It was about Donald Trump getting kicked off, right?
Number 5 is
Yeah.
part 3 of Donald Trump getting kicked off of Twitter.
And it's all the communications, who was involved, like what they were saying, like them being aware things weren't violations.
Mhm.
But they had the Twitter system, I noticed, was just automatically seemed to be right-wing people their posts would automatically get flagged with the warning label before they'd review it, and then it would get sent to review. And it looked like the ones that Elon showed, they did fix it, right? I think they fixed it.
What do you mean fixed?
The when they were putting a label automatically on a post, a Republican post, like before even reviewing it, and then they were sending the emails and they were changing it, right?
Search blacklist, do not amplify, don't take action on user without consulting SIPPES. And this is all before January 6th. They were trying to figure out ways. The big ones were Dan Bongino and Charlie Kirk. Those are right-wing personalities.
Okay.
That's where, so what liberals are currently, when I say defending, I was having a hard time trying to find you a clip of liberal coverage of this.
Yeah.
Because for the first time since Hillary Clinton's emails, we have a completely bifurcated news cycle. Fox and Twitter, this is on a loop.
Round and round and
This
round.
is something that they've been saying for 2 years. They finally got vindication, and they want someone to give it to them.
Yeah.
CNN won't cover it.
The article I found was on Fox.
Like CNN won't. They
none of the other
not a
networks are
minute,
covering it.
not one. And the debate is
But they covered Donald Trump every single day. They're pretending this isn't news, but they covered Donald Trump's tweets every day specifically, not just him.
Yeah. They're just mad that Elon has the balls, or has
That
the
he's
balls
just
in his court
doing whatever
now.
he wants.
Yeah.
more, and especially with that. Now, when we're talking this involvement between whether it was the Biden campaign and the Trump campaign influencing Twitter, or it was the FBI. After the first drop, a bunch of liberals made the distinction that when Biden was influencing Twitter, he wasn't in office. He was just requesting. And
Yeah.
Trump requested some things too. And you know what? It's tit for tat. The question is when the Fed gets involved.
Right.
Is that a free speech
That's what we were
violation?
talking about
It's
last
one, it's
time.
one thing when a private company is asked by a private
Because Biden
citizen.
wasn't in office when he was running, right?
Yes, so technically asking to suppress his son's emails would not be an act of the government.
Mm-hmm.
Even though it looks pretty clear here that
Legally, though, you're right.
It's more of a favor.
He technically didn't break the law, right?
the big issue, yes, that's what they made on Friday,
Yeah.
a week and a half ago.
Well, that was my comment earlier on the group chat is like, I understand what's happening. I just don't see how illegal it is yet. You know what I mean? Like,
And I'm hoping strategically the reason why they released it the way they did was they got a bunch of not TV liberals, but regular common sense, like people, okay, you want to find out what's going on. Your friends are talking about it. You're going to look it up, form your opinion. When you look at it, well, yeah, it's shady. It's not good. But didn't we all know that? We would joke about this all the time.
well, that's what I was saying earlier. It's like, it's one thing if, wouldn't it be the first time somebody played favorites in the media world toward one candidate or the other?
Well, it comes out that they announced on Friday that part 2 is coming. Everyone wait Saturday, Sunday,
Well,
Monday.
they said it was coming right away.
Yeah, it was
seemed
supposed to be-
Elon has in my looking at it, it seems like Elon handed the information over to Matt Taibbi,
Barry Weiss,
and who's
and
the other one?
Schellenberg.
Yeah.
Mark Schellenberg.
Yeah.
And he said you can do whatever you want with this information, but the first time you publish it has to be on Twitter.
And I think that before Twitter files number 2, I believe Barry Weiss told Elon that it's going to take longer than he thought, because he thought they were going to just release one day after another.
Go,
Because he came back on later and was like, "We're going to need a few more days," and it was like a week, right?
It turns
It felt like a while.
out that the legal general counsel for Twitter, as of a week ago, was James Baker. If that name sounds familiar,
Kind of.
Mahler. He was the one that approved the P tape and said in front of a judge, took Sussman report and said, yeah, this isn't Russian disinformation.
Yeah.
This is actually legit, and we should start an investigation into Trump for Russian ties. Now here he is. He gets chased out. He was on CNN. He was a TV spook. He gets chased out in 2018, 2019 because they proved
Yeah.
that he was clearly a partisan hack. Where does he go? Twitter's general legal counsel. And he stayed on that position for
Gotta work, right?
5 weeks while Elon was in charge. He just snuck and hid in there.
Okay.
And he was the one in
He didn't
charge.
get fired in the mass firings or whatever?
The conspiracy now is that he was cleaning the data before Matt Taibbi and Barry Weiss
Had a
could
chance
show
to
the
get it.
FBI's involvement. He was scrubbing that, making it so it was only political. It wasn't intelligence related. That's why the subsequent news dumps, they go in 2 different directions. The one I think is the most useful to us is what kind of censorship was happening to legitimate medical doctors with PhDs from Princeton, Dr. Jay Bhattacharya, that they got censored by the likes of Tony Fauci a year before the election. I think you can go back and follow shadow banning on Twitter to 2014, 2015. And the idea that, and you can also attach it to Wikipedia. One of the common critiques that Democrats are making is it's just Twitter. Who cares about Twitter? It's dying.
Well,
Look at Tesla's stock.
it's just one more.
got halved.
It's just one more media outlet. Yeah.
It's got halved in the last
Well,
year.
and if I'm Elon Musk, that's what I'm worried about, right? I mean, now you hold the keys to Twitter. So now if you're going to come out and say Twitter did illegitimate things, even if it was before him taking over, the stock's probably still going to take a hit.
Well, the stock's not available anymore. The stock is under Tesla. Elon bought it. It's not a publicly traded stock anymore.
It's not a separate thing.
Twitter's a part of SpaceX, Tesla. Elon's,
So what happened to all the shareholders?
he's getting hammered. He was at 360 at the start of this year. He's about 170, 180.
Yeah. So he
It
lost
was
a ton.
800 at the peak of the pandemic.
Right. Oh,
what
yeah.
the Tesla stock was. And now and that's where so you get deep state things where people think Elon might be a double agent because he works with NASA and he has contracts with the United States government. I have questions as to the way he's releasing this. If I was working for the DNC, I'm top brass, and Elon comes to me and goes, "Listen, I'm going to have to share these files to keep Twitter alive. I'm going to have to explain what went wrong with it. When would be the best time for me to put out this information?" I'd say, how about 2 weeks before Christmas? Nobody wants politics. We're a month after the general elections. We just got done with the Arizona primary. We're looking at gridlock for the next 2 years. Nobody wants to talk politics right now, especially independents, moderates, people with other things to do. So dropping this on a weekend in December, you didn't give Fox a chance to put their A-team on it. You gave CNN an excuse to duck it for the whole weekend. And as someone who's trying to research it, once you get a day behind, it's very hard to get back in Twitter to Twitter Files Part 2. Like, I'm trying to read them in order.
You can just look up. They're right on their wall.
Yeah, it's very, go.
But as far as the Twitter stock, I'm having trouble with the internet right now because I was trying to look this up. I haven't really paid attention to the stock too much, but I'm assuming if Twitter was acquired by SpaceX, the shares that the Twitter owners, they probably were either bought out.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we just learned something today about removable memory.
Yeah, Burton, you're still on air.
Can we hear him through the mic?
Bert, can you hear us? Yeah, I can hear you. Okay, you're on air right now.
I don't think. Can we hear him though?
Oh, I need to get him.
I was going to say, I can hear him on my phone.
I can hear him on the
Yeah.
phone, but I can't.
Bert, can you hear us right now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh,
Okay,
now
okay,
he's in our
okay.
ears.
Yeah.
Wow.
I forgot. I had it set up now that way for
So how,
Courtney's podcast.
Bert
'cause they
just
do
saved
one
the day.
caller.
how is the audio? How
Two
is
questions for the show since I'm calling in. I have two show questions since I'm
Yes.
calling in. Okay, question one. Have you done how did you do a well organized or poorly organized best of Elon?
We were working through it, and we had memory card issues.
Yeah, we're going to see what was recorded and what was not. I was going to ask
We got
Craig.
14 minutes worth, so
Yeah.
Do we
5
know?
minutes of that was you guys smoking outside, though.
Do you know what we're leaving off at? Where
I
when
do not know where we're at. I'm gonna have to say technical issues.
So no, Bert. No, we did have it organized, but currently because of our technical issues, we're just
It
firing away at different concepts. I have
Okay, and then SBF got arrested.
yes,
Because-
that was breaking news an hour ago. We haven't got to that yet. That's our after the Twitter files.
Okay.
As far as I had two questions for you, Bert. I watched the All In podcast for the
Yeah.
first time. I've watched the last two. Very good. Very good. And I understand why, like when you were explaining it to me, it never really I said, yeah, it sounds good. I like some of the ideas you're suggesting. Why do I want to watch it? It's just Poker Buddies. The All In. I kind of thought the All In was kind of a corny name. But it makes sense now that I'm watching it. The only thing that ties them together is poker. They got 4 different political mind states.
Well, they're VCs, and they talk about politics, and they talk about venture capital, and they talk about, they've been talking about politics lately because venture capital and politics between Twitter and SBF, the FTX have kind of wrapped around each other. It's like Calacanis, like 2 episodes ago, like makes this big stand that the SBF issue and the FTX issue is a failure of the investors in FTX and not
Right.
journalists, whereas Chamath and David Sachs were like, no, this is a failure of journalism and journalists, and they had wildly different perspectives. But you have to remember, Calacanis was a journalist for a long time.
I've known that's Chamath. I've seen him on the Money Channel a lot.
They're all on CNBC a ton. Probably Friedberg the least, because Friedberg's more of like a weird science man.
I think I know. Dave,
I don't
there's
know any
two
of these
Daves.
people.
There's a Republican Dave and a liberal Dave. It seems like
No, there's Jason Calacanis.
that's the host.
Yeah, and then there's David Sachs, and he's the conservative guy. And then there's Chamath, who is like the rich version
Libertarian,
of the
maybe.
father who votes Democrat because he's for working people.
These are people in the All In podcast.
Yeah,
Okay.
and it's a good, and that's when I was as far as trying to convince people to listen to it, since there wasn't a big name in air quotes.
Yeah.
It's tough to explain it. It's not just a political podcast. It is, it's, like I
Yeah.
said, venture capitalists. That's a good way of
It
putting
gets
it.
more into the stocks.
With
and
Elon's buying of
futures and
Twitter, that
stuff.
was like the ultimate venture capitalist move. How this plays
Yeah.
out here, we're watching in real time.
Well, we should get Bert's take on that since he's on the phone.
Yeah.
Because I think we were discussing that when we were experiencing our technical difficulties. To try to loop this back in a little bit, was when Elon bought Twitter, he basically dissolved the company, and those stocks got bought out at cash value at like $54 and change or whatever. So
Yeah.
then like what like when Twitter was getting hostile takeovered, which is what I'm going to call it what it was.
Yeah.
I mean, like the investors basically had to take the deal because that was the best one on the table, right? So
well,
is
George
this-
Soros, SBF, they could have bought it too.
Okay, but
They
the
didn't.
Elon had the money, like he had the equity. He could make the loan happen, and he took it over. So then I guess is the Twitter files him trying to save face, or like
No,
what's
Twitter-
gonna happen to the company now? I guess is like what happened to the whole.
So
Is there gonna be another IPO or what?
I mean, it depends on what direction Elon wants to take it. I mean, Elon's been pretty clear. He's not I mean, if you really want to dig into like where Elon's head, and this is what they keep talking about on All In because they're good friends with Elon
Mm-hmm.
on the show. Like they talk like he really was upset about the way he left PayPal, and
Elon.
I think
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
because he originally owned X.com, which he kept
Mm.
as part of his departure from PayPal, which was his original payment transaction service.
DOG.
And so
Thiel, Peter
you
Thiel.
have to. I think Elon saw an opportunity for a couple things. One, Elon very clearly was upset by what everybody on Twitter was experiencing and could say out loud, but we
Right.
weren't allowed to say in the mainstream media, and Twitter itself denied that it did.
Right.
Right?
I get that
Shadow
part.
banning,
Right.
The de-ranking, and
Yeah.
he's like, this is bullcrap. And then I think the second thing is he wanted a software platform to build in other software ideas. Like he owns 2 hardware companies, and so he doesn't really get to play in the media space. He doesn't get to play in the like when you look
He
at
hasn't gotten
like,
the Jeff Bezos
SpaceX,
status yet, where you just go out and buy, the Washington Post. So is this
Well-
his version of just going out and buying a newspaper, but he bought Twitter
No.
instead?
No, because I don't think like Jeff Bezos and the Washington Post like very clearly have an ideological slant. Elon's maintained pretty fervently that if he has a good day, if he pisses off both the far right and the far left. Where Jeff Bezos is very clear about the
Yeah.
Washington Post is going to be part of this Washington establishment elite
Mm-hmm.
kind of. I mean, the Washington Post has a particular point of view that aligns with the CIA and the FBI, and they don't really have any interest in changing that. I mean, these are the idiots that hired Taylor Lorenz after she was at the New York Times. Like, yeah, she's doing a bang up job. Let's move her over here. So
And
this is.
politically speaking, what it's so good about Elon's move is a lot of the people criticizing him are looking like extreme hypocrites. It's like when you have everyone going, "Oh, you're just being a mouthpiece for a billionaire," and they're working for Jeff Bezos. It's like it kind of underrates itself.
Well,
Yeah,
I
but
mean,
it still seems
so-
like it's a little bit of a backfire move on the part of Elon because
what's the
I
backfire? How's he-
I don't think he's gonna it's not gonna end up being a good business deal
Why?
because I don't think Twitter's gonna retain any of its value.
Right now, it's driving the news cycle.
What
Hold
is
on,
it?
hold on, Alec. This is why I brought up the PayPal stuff. You're not looking into this the right way. If you're saying
I'm
like,
struggling.
could he take what was Twitter and turn it into a more profitable version of itself? Like continue the roadmap that Twitter was on, and have like the mouths go up and have the ad revenue go up. He has no interest in doing any of the previous roadmap. He is going to take Twitter in a
That's
dramatically different direction.
an
then-
unproven direction
But
for revenue.
But he's done this with electric
No,
cars.
wait. What do
He's
you
seen
mean
this with
proven?
PayPal. He's been at the forefront of all these innovations.
Well, I know, but if
Historical.
we're gonna get if we're gonna get like, how do I want to say this? Independent, like I guess this is sort of what he's trying to take
Yeah.
Twitter as.
I would say it's exactly what the Twitter files are. It's the new independent journalism.
I just don't see a lot of ad revenue flocking to something like
don't
that.
know if you need
So-
it to be that.
Alec, his goal isn't. That's the key. Ad revenue, like
It's what cheapens
ultimately, you can make the
So
argument
drives
that Twitter as a product could not succeed in the way that it needed to with ads. It can't.
Maybe.
He wants to
Because
charge $8 for.
Well, he's trying to get subscribers.
Checkmark, right?
Yeah, no, he's trying to get subscribers now.
Which I'd say he's doing right now. If you want to follow these Twitter
Well, let's see if he
files
gets
and you're
enough.
liberal, you
But if we're
have
gonna
to get
pay
on
out,
Twitter.
if we're gonna pay out $54 a share for this company,
Or that-
like, is it a big dick move, or is this actually something he's legitimately trying to turn around? Because to me, it looks like a big dick
No,
move.
Alec, you're framing it wrong. It's not about turning it around. It's about turning it in. Like, okay, let me give you a good example from my work history. So, so there's a flight school out at Latrobe Airport. Okay,
V Neil,
huh?
V Neil, or is that the private?
Like Westmoreland Aviation, something.
Okay, all right.
Okay. So the second job I had out of college, I worked for a company called when I applied, it was called Kit Solutions, and they had government contracts with states to provide prevention grant management software. So if you wanted to prevent diabetes in the state of Minnesota and wanted grant money from the federal government, you would use our software to get it.
Okay.
Dave, what's his name, bought the company because he saw that there were basically he needed a software company to build his dream flight school software, right? And it just so happened that the existing business could be better if it did accounting better. And the guy was like, he's been an accountant, he's been a CFO in 1,000 other companies. He bought the flight school not because he wanted to own a flight school,
Yeah.
but because he
It
wanted
had
to
the
finish.
Yeah.
Yeah, he wanted to finish, and they were going to close up before he got his certificates and stuff. And he's like, no, I'll just pay you I'll just buy the business off you, keep it running, so I can get my certificates, and then I'll just own a flight school.
Mhm.
So Dave did not buy Mosaic or Kit Solutions with the idea that he wanted to be in the prevention grant management solution, like software business. What he really wanted was and this was the key, the golden goose he was chasing was when Taylor Swift goes on tour, she's on a private jet. Private jets don't stop for gas at normal airports to
Yeah.
refuel. They stay at these really fancy places called SBOs, or I forget what they're called, but they're these fancy like you think Sheetz is high end. You should see one. I got to stop
Sheetz?
at one. It's nuts.
I hate cheats.
Like these places
They're like
are nuts.
they're like
In a
boutique
garage.
airports. It sounds like.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay. Yeah.
But
Mhm.
the only reason they're there is so you can get gas.
Mhm.
So he wanted to basically use the flight school software to transition into. He wanted to own the credit card swipe
Yeah.
for the gasoline
Right.
at the SBO.
No, I get
That-
I get what you're saying. You're taking one application and you're leveraging it for something bigger, basically, in a
Or-
different form,
An entirely different vertical.
in a
And
different. Yeah. Right.
that's what he's going to do with Twitter. So the real question is, which vertical is he going to take it? And the vertical that Elon would like to take Twitter is payment processing, because he thinks that PayPal's full of shit, because he thought they were full of shit 30 years ago.
Well, if that's the ultimate play, like turn Twitter into a better version of PayPal, then okay, fine. But I'm until proven otherwise, I think we have to be stuck in the present, which is
But you have to
he doesn't know what to do with this company
one more
right now, and he's trying to legitimize it through the Twitter files. So,
But there's one more piece of this that I think you can't forget. Most of the people leading the charge on this all being awful, right? Because if you look at just the pure numbers of Twitter, other than the ad revenue part, the monthly active users have gone up, the engagement's up, and the bots are down.
yeah, okay.
So who's really complaining? Oh, it's the same idiots who used to use Twitter as the news.
Yeah. Well,
And
I
they
don't
still
think
are.
it-
They're threatening
yeah.
to leave Twitter like they were going to move to Canada when Trump was elected.
Right. Yeah.
It's just the same logic that you see them throwing out, and it's like they don't leave.
Well,
They're still tweeting.
No one's denying that Twitter obviously played favorites, right? I mean, that's what this is about.
Well, they were for a while,
Yeah,
but no one now is denying that.
Yeah,
no. But
no,
there
yeah.
was a bunch
So-
of people that are
Do
currently
you agree
acting
with
like
it
they
not being a news story?
Well, it's not that. It's just, and I've made this example before, and I said when we were in our technical difficulty break that I'll try not to reuse old arguments, but like any media source is going to play a favorite. So like that's why I still don't really see like the illegality of it all. I guess is like, I said that in the group text. It's like, okay, like this stuff happened, but no one's going to get their day in court over it. You know, it was
But,
one.
Well,
It was
But doesn't
one.
make
It
it
was
an-
one executive making a decision, just like an editor would make a decision to play
It
up or
wasn't
play
really-
down a story.
they
I mean,
were not
that's all
portraying.
this is.
In 2018,
No one's gonna get
Jack
sued over
Jack
it.
went on to Capitol Hill and testified that they were not shadow banning. We have evidence that they were at the time that he was doing it, except they just like gain of function research with Anthony Fauci. We just shadow banning. We didn't quite mean shadow banning. We got 3 or 4 different other words depending on whose Slack emails you're reading. So that I had a couple questions for Bert here. The Slack email, what is that?
Slack is a lot like Microsoft Teams.
I've used it.
I use it at work.
Yeah,
it's
that's good.
It's just like an instant messenger.
Does it delete right away?
It's
or
a
is
chat
it,
feature.
is
No,
it-
well, it
Slack's
depends.
very clear in their terms of use. If you're
Yeah.
a enterprise level customer, which Twitter would absolutely have been,
Right.
they hold all those archives for
Okay.
for legal reasons.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they don't. You as an enterprise customer cannot ask them.
Not to.
I don't even think they'll allow you to delete your own
It's
stuff.
is Slack more like Snapchat or Telegram?
No, it's like a chat
Like-
feature. It's like AIM.
It's like AOL.
Yeah.
Like-
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
And you-
instant messenger.
Instant messenger, and you can like share
Oh.
files over it and things like that.
Right. I kind of like Slack. Now.
It's
That's cool.
basically a
Okay.
better email.
Okay.
And it's great for teams. Like I used it when I worked in an ad agency, so like everybody would be on there, and then you have different groups.
Okay.
It's a fancier text message, email, like combo type thing.
Now,
Yeah, it's like that for like lunches on like Friday lunchtime, and so
Yeah.
everybody go to Friday lunchtime. They join the chat, and somebody like, "Hey, it's Friday. Where are we going?"
Right.
Oh, we want to go to TJ's China buffet at the
Mhm.
Pittsburgh Mills. It's like, oh,
We had a Taco Tuesday thread
Okay.
thing. It was like a
Okay.
whole like this is what Slack does, you know.
right, that makes sense to me now.
And they use like hashtags and stuff, so it's like Twitter-esque in that regard.
Well,
but
so just to clarify, a lot of the evidence in the Twitter files,
Is
they
in
actually show
Slack.
pictures. Is they
Yeah.
just show the actual Slack conversations, and it's like you can make fun of Matt Taibbi or you can say he's not a real journalist, but if you're gonna, that evidence is real. If you read the
I
email,
know, but is anybody going to have their day in court over it? I guess is my
okay,
question.
okay. So,
so
go ahead, Bert. That's transitioning me to question number 2.
well, so I think Alec, the question becomes as more of this comes out is what do we get to do as private American citizens when the government breaks the First Amendment?
I guess overthrow our
Real
leaders.
talk.
Jan
Jan 6. Jan
right? I
overthrowing the
mean,
government.
that's what we're
the
doing.
scariest thing that's in there isn't just them going, and this is where I think the mainstream media has done most of their poo-pooing of the whole thing, is they move the ball. So the ball isn't that people were shadow banned. The ball is that the real thing to focus on, the real like quote unquote crime, to your point.
Yep.
The FBI was telling them what to do,
Right. Yeah.
which they have no authority to.
No,
and
that's
you
that's
know,
the
and
point
then-
Greg kept coming back to in the last show, and it's like I don't know what to say.
And strategically, why I think Elon maybe released it the way that he did was after the first one came out, you didn't get a bunch of public liberals, but you got some that came out and went, well, Biden's not working for the government when he's a candidate. Okay. The FBI and Tony Fauci were still deliberately working behind the president's back in this deep state thing. What do you say about that? That has to be a free speech violation. And right now, Alex seems to agree.
Yeah, no, that's what there is no defense.
Crystal Ball
Like
on
the-
Breaking Point
the-
seems to agree that yes, the 51 intelligence officers that signed a letter
Yeah.
saying that this is obviously Russian misinformation
Yeah.
were lying, and we need to know who organized it.
But again, like to Bert's point now, what do we do about it as private citizens? Do we
Okay.
do we blow up the FBI?
Let me.
I mean, like
Vote
it's like
in a Republican in 24 who
okay,
charge
There you go.
somebody like Fauci with treason, and then we commit him with war crimes.
Does the FBI director get appointed?
Yeah, you can.
Yes,
You can
And
fire an
there's-
It's always controversial. They say you're firing it because he's investigating you, but
So
yeah,
so it becomes sort of a political.
there were a lot of questions as to why certain presidents don't fire
Yeah,
the head of intelligence communities.
because you would think that would be something that shouldn't get appointed, right? That should be something that carries over from administration to administration. You know what I mean? So,
Oh no, Bert, Alec, no.
Woodrow Wilson
No.
agencies.
Oh God, no. Okay, hold on. Let me just get a factual clarification from you, Bert, on the Twitter files. Basically, what Elon has done is he bought the company. He gets access to all of their records, all of their Slack, and he has to understand what he bought. He has now made it accessible to Substack journalists Matt Taibbi, Bari Weiss, and Matthew Schellenberger. Did I get that one correct?
Yeah.
And they're his only specification is that you can do what you want with the information. You can put out books, you can put out Substacks, whatever, but your first release has to be on Twitter. Because in Elon, what he's trying to do is if you want this information, I'm the news source. We are the news source. I have picked these 3 people. I've given them access to the information. Criticize them, compliment them, build off their information, try and contact them. Here it is. That's the now. One of my my main concern is I don't like the timing. Like I feel like this would have been done if we did this 2 weeks before the Georgia primary. It would have been a lot more advantageous. I didn't know people like Jim Baker were still working for the company, but then
Greg, Elon didn't know either.
no, that kind of. On one hand, it concerns me is how good is the deep state or how Jim Baker. I have this name everywhere. This guy has been a problem for 6 years
Did
now.
Elon just miss
Right,
the
you
notes
have to
on this
remember-
one?
Yeah, how did we miss Jim Baker?
Because Elon is this sort of normie who doesn't like every person that's like speaking in this phone call right now, right, has some vague like interest. Like we spend our free time outside of working and marriages and children rearing and on all these other things that we're responsible for,
Restaurants.
like reading about and thinking about politics.
Mhm.
Elon thinks about how he's going to Mars,
True.
and like he's
But I
not.
thought he'd hire people like me. I got nothing to do. If Elon needs a strategist right now to just come and try and figure out maybe
Greg,
the best
you-
day to
Well,
release this,
I want
just to
point out,
comb through and find Jim fucking Baker.
Greg, the fact that you haven't been on
Spook
Twitter
number 1.
every waking hour posting about like
That could be.
asking questions, you should.
Bert, that's why I need you
know
here.
Who you are?
Me
You
tr-
should have posted so many times him asking different excerpts of
Bert-
Hunter Biden's book.
But I just want to know if I'm
You
shadow
have no
banned.
excuse.
I just want to know if I'm shadow banned. If I was shadow banned, because Alec was
But you're
calling me
not shadow
crazy.
banned anymore. So just
No,
you
but
should-
it would mean a lot. I want to find out if we were actually, when I only have 100 followers, if the FBI was taking time to actually comb through 200 accounts a day, going through the smallest of accounts, going, you know what? He only has 150 people following him, but God damn it, let's put him under this one. Okay, this
But you
person's too
didn't, Greg,
big.
you didn't post enough to warrant that.
I wouldn't think, but if, and that,
You should-
okay, I
You
wouldn't
don't
think.
you don't use your account enough.
No, but if I was shadow banned with the limited amount that I use, that means this was extremely far reaching. And I'm pretty sure might have been.
Right.
I just
don't
followed
think
Alex
so.
Berenson. I followed right in line with
Post
the.
anything. You have a total of lifetime what, like 12 tweets?
That's
Oh
your problem.
no! At
You're
certain,
not
at
gonna
certain
get
point there, I
followers
was
if you
doing.
don't
I was
use
doing
it.
3 or 4
Yeah,
a day.
you
I
were-
was doing.
You were decently active.
was
there for
tweeting a
while,
little
but,
bit.
Greg, you
yeah.
need
I
to
was tweeting a little
100x
bit.
those numbers.
Okay.
300 to 400 tweets a
So,
day.
so that's right.
Donald Trump approach. Let's go.
You need your own version of Matt Pasivic's Wake Up, Pray Up.
Bert, if you were looking at my Twitter notes here, I tried to do them on paper. Like I tried to figure out how to turn that's one of my issues with the way this is done is I'd rather this had been they did a good job of citing their sources, but it's very difficult for me to go through and like and retweet and screenshot a picture of a tweet on my phone,
Greg,
one
you
of
need to learn how to
64.
use a computer. I have offered you free computer quote unquote classes.
We've
Bert,
tried.
don't go down
we
that
tried
road.
to organize
Just
this.
don't
We
go
tried-
down. Just
no,
don't go down
we're getting
that road.
closer. I'm going to have to learn. I'm going to have to learn.
You just talk Greg how to cut
Don't
lemons,
tell me
okay?
about
Let's
rabbit
just
holes.
sit
I'm
the
gonna
I'm
learn.
making progress with Greg.
God, everyone pray Hunter Biden that I do not learn to use a computer. Because at
Okay.
some point, if I figure out a way to upload information, damn, if I can cite it like Matt Taibbi did, just a paragraph at a time, here's the evidence. That's essentially the footnote.
Greg,
Back in
just
my day
Greg,
when you wrote a
here's what
paper.
you're gonna do. Greg, I want you to Xerox every single all of your edge notes, right? Your margin notes
Yes.
for the book. I want you to go to the library, Xerox the whole thing, and mail it to Matt Taibbi and say, "This is my job application. Can I work for your Substack?"
That's a good idea.
Okay.
There you
That's
go.
actually a pretty
That-
good idea.
That is a good. We're gonna implement this week before Christmas. Christmas miracle.
Greg, you should be at the library like tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. Whenever they
I got the
open up.
Paul. I don't got Hunter on me now. I got Paul Manafort. That's the
there's-
other one I need to talk to.
You can
Matt
use-
Taibbi and Paul Manafort. I got to figure out what the hell's
You can
going
use
on.
the library in Jeanette.
You can use
It's
my
open.
printer.
One
Just put them on the scanner and print
Hey,
them.
oh, Greg, you know the other thing you should be doing? If Kim.com can be in every Twitter Spaces, you need to be in every Twitter
Are you
Space.
talking skim.com?
Kim.com.
What's kim.com?
The weirdo from New Zealand who founded Mega Download, and then the FBI raided his house, and now like every Twitter Spaces about FTX and SBF, he has been in all of them.
I think we should be trying to do Twitter Spaces more. I think, as a team or show, if we could get on Twitter Spaces and do some live call-ins, we could get some live
whole
people.
Conversation could have been. I could have called in on. Twitter
Let's get
Spaces.
some Twitter strange. Let's get some odd
Well,
Twitter comments.
so how
here.
do we take our podcast from in our situation now using the microphones and everything so we got the quality?
You need the
spaces.
You need the preamp. That's what. Greg, your question. This is why I called.
Yeah.
Okay.
We
need
should
the-
set that background up.
If you get the preamp, then the preamp will let you put it into the computer as the mic input, and that's what you need for Twitter Spaces.
So we need a preamp.
Not a post amp.
Okay.
Well, I'm sorry, not a preamp. You need a digital. You need a. I sent you a link to a couple.
You need like a digital mixer.
No, not a mixer necessarily. You just
Converter,
need an interface.
right?
You need a digital audio interface.
Is that the thing you sent me before?
Yeah.
Okay, I have that in my Amazon cart.
Does that compress the file? Is that what that does?
No. It's just gonna make on your computer. I gotta go, but all it's gonna do is make on the computer your mic be what you have set up.
Bert can't see my
I
hands
see.
wildly waving. I got one question here before you leave that I can transition. I get your answer, and then I'm gonna let Alec respond to it. Right now, I have like trippy flashback vibes to the Hillary Clinton email server, where I'm watching Fox cover it 24/7. I'm seeing conservative social media albums hammering it, but the liberals pretending it's just not happening. And the result of the Hillary Clinton emails was nobody was arrested, but she lost. And I think back to Mueller, and I remember CNN covering it 24/7, and Fox just basically, okay, until you have a charge, until someone's arrested, I got nothing to do with it. Was Trump arrested? No, but he did lose. So I mean, how much did the Hillary Clinton investigation hurt her campaign? How much did the Mueller report hurt Hillary? I don't know. Hunter's laptop, I mean, as far as moving forward and seeing that Joe is going to run 2024, is the end goal here that we're going to lock him up, some kind of criminal charges, or is it just a matter of maybe making the Democratic base realize that it's not necessarily that there are certain particular policies are the issues. They're just getting led by corrupt people. And at a certain point,
Greg, Bert has to go. Let's wrap it up here.
do you think there's going to be any more fallout from Hunter's and these Twitter leaks than there was WikiLeaks and Julian Assange and the same thing that happened back in 2015?
Well, so now here's the interesting bit. So I'm reading tonight that Julian Assange, Biden might have to back off on Assange.
I'm hearing that. I mean, he's gotten support from the left and the right. We got Rachel Maddow
So-
and Tucker Carlson supporting his.
So I think the interesting piece will be, and Greg, I know you'll chew into this, and I'll let you guys go on this note. I think two things are going to happen. One, liberals, even if they don't say in the public space, the public square like anything about this. I think they have to gnaw on it because they've lost a major. I don't think you really understand. Like when I watched left-leaning gaming people lose their shit about Elon Musk buying Twitter in a way that resembled left-leaning journalists.
Getting booed in San Francisco.
Like, we have okay. So in the same way that like when YouTube started to become popular, like a bunch of people like moved into the public square and gained a platform in a way that like nobody was really ready for. Twitter being like, I hesitate to use the word fixed, but Twitter being reset will elevate. Like the real question you should be asking is, who is taking advantage of the power vacuum that currently exists on the internet?
Where's Trump? Where's the Donald? He just had a 3-part series. If he made a dramatic entrance, a golden escalator entrance back onto Twitter, just started sliding a little fake news, maybe make some direct comments at like the main liberal media, seeing like I knew it was all rigged. I knew the election was fixed. Isn't this the time to slide in?
That should be his first tweet back.
Yeah, right now he has a
golden. Told you so.
Come on, and it would save Twitter. It would save like.
So that's one.
Come on, Donald.
He's got to buy shares first.
The second part, Greg, that you started to talk about was nobody, both left and right, in the culture war. No one has gotten blood. Everybody's gotten close.
Yeah. There's no blood.
I mean, Democrats won't let Trump go.
Lock him up. Lock her up. I want it. No one gets jail time.
So the next question is, I think we should expect two things to come up in the next 3 years. One, Democrats will find somebody other than Trump, and it might be Elon, to become their like this guy needs arrested boogeyman.
Yes.
The walls are closing in.
Definitely.
Blah 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 blah. And two, if Republicans, apparently they've like, Greg, to the point you've been screaming about now for 3 years, they reportedly figured out the mail.
Yeah, it's time to do the mail.
So they win 24.
The mail?
Then
mail
the question becomes,
Republicans just are going to have to accept mail on ballot.
Yeah.
Trump refused. Trump had the ability to tease a bunch of people, but ultimately never.
Blue baller.
Right. So if DeSantis wins the primary,
which he will,
which I think he's likely to do,
I agree.
Could.
Then I think like does DeSantis have to then is forced based on the environment to find a way to get a scalp, and who is ultimately offered
Tony
on
Fauci.
that road?
Tony Fauci.
Is it Anthony Fauci?
It has to be. And he's going nowhere. They're bringing masks back. New York's got masks. We're going right back. Do you know why God gave you 2 arms, Alec?
What?
One for the flu shot, the other for the COVID shot. That's why we got 2 ligaments here.
It makes sense to me.
That they are bringing it all right back. And
I thought one was for something else.
I think this is one. If you want to
keep it PG.
If you want to talk partisan politics, with the Twitter, with the.
Thanks for saying that out loud, Greg.
Wait. Masks are coming back, Greg?
Oh yeah, all the masks because we have a trip.
Don't believe anything you hear on the podcast.
Oh yeah, I've been right on this for 2 years. This is one of those. I think I'm.
This is a prediction.
I've been shadow banned.
This is a prediction.
Triple-demic.
They are coming back.
Triple-demic.
Sure
we have the flu, which we have a shot
man.
for. We have the COVID, which we have a shot for, and then we have the respiratory virus.
Hold on, Alec. You said you're not wearing
no shots
one.
of that. Oh yeah.
Would you put money on it that if
Wait,
if the rules come
guys-
back, you won't have the plastic shields up and masks everywhere?
No.
We will be that diner that you go to get COVID immunity from.
And if I'm
We
not going to
toughen
do it,
our immune
if I'm not
system.
going to do it as a
George
defending,
Carlin style.
if I'm not going to do it as
I
a
gotta go,
defending
guys.
liberal,
Thank you,
then-
Bert.
Thank you, Bert.
Thank you, Bert, for the
Thank
help.
you.
We
Yeah,
go.
bye.
Have a good one. That was
Well, that was good.
Yeah,
Good
always good to have
segment.
Bert included. In
See,
here
I
in
told
our,
you we can do
tech
call-ins.
fix. Yeah, that worked. That
Yeah.
worked well.
Well, you guys talked over him a lot, and he cuts out in and
I
out.
know.
Who knows
That's the problem
how
with
this
it.
sounds will be very interesting.
The
Sorry.
call-ins are always
It
rough.
sounded good on our ears. So.
The quality comes in fine.
Yeah.
Courtney's
it's talking-
podcast has a girl that is in another state who calls in for episodes.
Yeah.
So like they had to do that way, but they talk. Their conversations are real slow, and
Yeah.
they give each
Well,
other
you have
like, a lot
to-
more time.
You have to not do what we do all the time when we three of us talk in person. Let's cut
Bring-
each other
I mean,
off because
Calling in someone on a hot take for the Twitter files is a
Yeah.
rather.
If you let them just
Yes.
you have to let
then
them
you're good.
do their
But,
spiel and
yeah.
react is what you have to do
We
on
are
the
go-
call-in. So.
We are going to keep you abridged. Probably me and Craig will have an episode here in the next couple of days once we get Twitter files
Yeah,
on
yeah.
Tony Fauci.
If we can get
little more
us on
specific.
Spaces, I'm down to do that. I think Spaces is actually something that might work.
Do you want to make any comments about Brittany Griner? You've been vocal in our group message about it, and I have
Oh.
a strong take on it too. I'm just
Yeah.
trying to let's get some extra topics here while let's just do it quick.
Okay, so
Move off of Twitter files. We beat that horse.
I still think it's going to be a bad business deal for Elon.
It
but
could be. It could be.
I have
Let's
no
let it.
idea.
That's my last word comment on the whole
What I
thing,
wanted to
but
do is
I don't understand purchasing it.
I wanted to
it
expose.
just sounds like a terrible deal.
I wanted to expose our audience to as many takes as possible.
yeah.
There's as many ways because this could be interpreted. We have one of these news narratives that could go any direction. I think it is important which direction it goes, but for once, I got no idea.
Because anyways,
I got theories.
Brittany Griner. She
Brittany
comes back
Griner
to
traded for
So, like, for
the
her,
minister
this
of
is-
death.
that might have sucked in prison, but she possibly may have made the best move of her career. Like, she is going to get all that media time. She's going to get to do the circuit, you know,
She
get
served
really
9
promote
months
herself.
in hard Russian.
Yeah, that
prison.
part might have sucked, but I think
How much would you have to get paid? How much do I have
Me?
to pay you to go sit in like a
I don't have-
Siberian Russia jail cell for like a year? $10 million?
Nah,
I don't
Craig's
know.
doing it for
10
like-
million-
Craig's doing it for like a half a
$1
mil.
million a month. Would you
how
do
long
it?
do I have to do it? Half
12
a year?
months. You got to do 1 year for $12 million.
For 12 million? Oh,
Sitting
yeah.
in the cold, no heat, no
Wait,
AC.
how many years?
12 months.
12 months?
12 months. It's-
Brittany hasn't been in there
I
12
think
months.
9. I think she's 9.
It's been 9 months. It hasn't been
Yes,
that long.
it's been the Ukrainian war.
I think
The-
I think most people
they-
would take
they-
$1 million
they-
a month to go sit in any kind of prison.
Yeah, I would go take that for sure.
I don't know.
I would.
Yeah.
They imprisoned her a week before the Ukrainian invasion started. It was like a hostage.
Yeah, when was that? I can't remember. I feel like this wasn't.
January, February,
I
March.
feel like this has only been going on for so many
This would have been
months,
month 3 of the year.
We're almost.
What are we
yeah.
at? We're at 11.
right?
It's,
Oh,
been
it has-
almost,
so
it's
she's-
almost been a full year.
Yeah, it's 9 months.
She got locked up that long.
9
ago.
months.
We for certain on that. Maybe the internet.
You're the fact checker.
Yeah, I'm willing to wager it's
the
within
best
one
the
of
best
that.
take I heard on the whole Brittany Griner thing was actually from Mark Madden, the radio host on 105.9 The
I'm
X. Yeah.
curious as to what his take even was.
His whole thing was she's not a hero,
Holy shit.
which I would agree.
Well, yeah, no one's.
You know,
yeah.
like no one's
February
really saying
17th.
that. I mean, it was like if the liberals are trying to come out and say Brittany Griner's
Yeah.
a hero,
over 9 months.
then I think that's way overplaying any kind of hand politically that
Yeah.
anybody
No,
has,
no.
you know,
The
so.
question is
The fact is she's a basketball player.
Right
and
now-
that's it.
right
So,
now it would have helped. Here are the 2 questions that I've heard from more of the alternative
Left-leaning.
sites. No,
Oh,
it's just
okay.
alternative news on ways to interpret this is why would Putin have done this now as opposed to right before the Georgia primaries? It's a win because Georgia, remember, that's Atlanta, that's the WNBA. That's actually the place that was most affected by Brittany Griner. A lot of people were criticizing Biden. So your son, it's okay if he does coke in Russia and gets blackmailed, but Brittany Griner gets caught with a vape cart and is doing 9 months
But
in
at the
prison?
other end of this, you got to
Really?
think like, if what she did is breaking a law in her own country.
Well,
So-
we talked about, I don't know if this is in the podcast that we recorded, but usually
just don't have your rights
with these
overseas.
erratic drug laws, you get high profile athletes to make a deal with the state, with Russia, that we're not following your marijuana policies.
I mean, it was like
You're
9
paying-
years, right? She was sentenced to.
But they could have
so-
changed that. She might have had that deal. I'd like to know if she did have like a wink arrangement
But
with
even
Russian
if she
prosecutors.
did, what is the U.S. doing getting her out when we have that law here? Like you can't transport drugs.
No,
across the border.
nobody
No
is
one's
getting
getting-
sent
but no
to
one's getting
internment
sent
camps
to
for
9
possession of a vape
years.
cart.
How long do you get?
I don't think you go to prison for possession
You
of a
could
vape
probably
cart.
get
When
out
you're
of
s-
it
when you're
on bail.
bringing it across the border?
If it's not distribution, it wasn't distribution. It was she had her own personal at the airport. It wasn't that she was smuggling.
So here in the United States, you would be innocent until proven guilty. You'd be
She-
out on bail.
depending on
you'd
the
be
state, you'd get a
free-
fine or nothing.
And then you would get a fine. Or,
Not sent to internment camp.
It would.
Like,
It would stay in civil court. I would think. Like it would never get bumped up to criminal. I don't know. I don't know.
and that's
I'm not
what
a lawyer.
I'm
but-
torn. My logic is I think Democrats should have put a lot more pressure on Putin to have sent her back a while ago. The fact that they traded the
Well,
minister of death.
I said this before. Biden was obviously backed into a corner, and I think it was like you have this.
President got some sway, man. He didn't do anything for her.
No,
And that's what to claim.
He got backed into a corner to do something about it. And so this is what happened.
I think Biden's or the DNC ultimately what Biden is doing is it's best for his personal. He's trying to win a primary.
Oh yeah, no.
Getting her back is good.
He thought that this would work.
The Republican narrative. You left. We have a Marine who was on vacation.
Right.
I can't remember his name, which I should. That's the problem is we don't remember the name of the people that are.
Well, and then I think the narrative then is like, okay, like the Marine.
We traded a basketball star for an arms dealer.
Yeah, but there you're saying you got you have like who would you rather keep in prison? This hard nosed Marine or this women's basketball player? Like I think
Brittany Griner. Brittany Griner could beat the shit out of all three of us, probably 3-on-1.
Probably.
Yeah, she's no tough.
I think,
she's no weakling. She's no scrawny one.
I think that's what Biden thought were the optics.
I think,
and obviously
no. I think Hunter.
Just hearing
this is a Hunter call.
The funny thing was in the diner. This was like, oh, could you believe Brittany Griner? Like this was like a big deal in the diner. Like people were like legitimately.
They call him the
upset
minister
about this.
of death.
Well, I understand.
This guy has killed hundreds of Americans, military. We don't know how many people he killed because he's an actual.
If that really was the Biden strategy, then it was a complete and utter backfire.
Not if he's trying to win the primary.
Much like Elon Musk trying to buy Twitter.
No, but if your mind state is winning a primary,
well, I don't know.
It's bad for independence.
But is it really? Is it really pandering to your base that much?
The WNBA? Hell yeah! If anything, he was under fire for his son. The whole thing being the matter, simple drug possession, and you have a son who is being publicly covered for doing drugs abroad, potentially to have blackmail from Russians because what he admitted in his own damn book. And here you have the first ever black lesbian point leader, top player from the WNBA gets caught with a vape cart in an airport. And she's doing 9 months, getting kept in like a tiny person's prison cell. It looks so awful.
That's what I'm
so
saying.
awful. So, but now he fixed it. And ESPN,
fixed.
When I say First Take, covered it for 2 hours.
Oh, yeah, no, I know.
Full 2-hour blanket coverage. Everybody
came
came in and it's like, I don't know how many different ways you can break down the story. I need to talk to her and know whether she in an arrangement with Russian feds that she's allowed to smoke. If I'm a star, if I'm a LeBron James,
we'll never know that.
I mean, she could. I think we might. There will be. She'll have a 60-minute interview.
Yeah, but
I'm curious to listen to that.
She actually reveals.
I'm curious as to what she says.
All right, let's get some other hot takes before we wrap this up.
SBF arrested about an hour before we started recording.
Yeah,
you don't know much about
that.
cryptocurrency.
Yeah, so.
Do you want to talk any trash? I have my opinion here, Craig.
What do you mean?
I think he was supposed to give a Senate or a congressional hearing in the next either tomorrow or on Wednesday, and now that he's arrested, God damn it, he can't show up. And he was arrested in the Bahamas, so we got to worry about extradition laws. I don't know how much this kicks this. Maybe what we were supposed to get. I mean, a lot of people were thinking since the Republican Congress is so incompetent that they're not going to get any information off of him.
Do you think he had the dude killed that they found in the ocean?
The death count on SB? I don't think this guy's capable of calling for someone to die.
Well, they definitely killed that one partner. They found him in the ocean.
I have no idea what's going on. So.
No, I don't. Craig, yeah. I don't want to accuse anyone of murder here. I don't know anything about that.
Well, they don't know who did it. He tweeted that they were going to kill him. I believe it was tweet or Facebook, and then went for a walk, and somebody found him in the ocean.
That's what happens.
It was in Puerto Rico.
Whatever happened with the whole FTX thing, though?
Well, that's what we're figuring.
Fallout to that?
It's done. They're trying to figure out what to do with the guy.
Yeah.
He's a 24-year-old with curly hair with
So I found this out the other day. It's an odd sidebar. But somebody in my parents' neighborhood, he was a 19-year-old kid, I guess made a shit ton of money trading digital currencies and or other like TikTok-related social media, just like things. Feds showed up at their house at like 5 o'clock in the morning. This is in my parents' neighborhood, Greensburg, Pennsylvania. Hauled this kid away. Apparently he had like 10 cars, living with mom and dad, had all these things. And then this is just a rumor I heard. The reason he got caught is he actually ended up like stealing money from one of the, like he hacked into like one of these servers and like stole a bunch of money and then got caught. And that's how the Fed showed up at his door investigating. But it happened like right here in Greensburg. Like, you don't think this stuff is happening in like random backwoods,
That it,
Western
in
PA.
how many
Like you
states,
think it
how
would
many
happen in
counties?
California or like
Who knows how
New
many
York
counties?
or something like that. But it's like anybody with an internet connection can do this.
What did Trump used to say? Oh, some guy, some kid, some adult in his basement
Yeah.
in Jersey
Right.
hacking computers, and that's the.
But I just thought it was astounding. I
That
have nothing to
is,
back this up.
the guy
on,
who got
but
murdered is
A neighbor told me this.
Nikolai Mushingin. I don't know how to say his last name.
Sounds
But
right to me.
He had tweeted that intelligence agencies were going to murder him, and then he was found on the beach shortly later in Puerto Rico.
Another one in the Clinton body count.
So you're saying Greensburg, Pennsylvania? There's a kid.
I read no news article about this. This was a neighbor telling me this in the diner.
Okay.
They came in and they
he
were
could have
like,
got caught for selling drugs or something.
I mean, apparently it was. They knew enough about it. It might have been on the news. I think there was actually a Channel 11
Really?
was like on the. Yeah, you know what? There was because they were talking about, being in like the background.
Because
of it,
I do
so,
know of a few businesses that are fronts locally for
Yeah.
drug dealers.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
I mean, maybe it was more that.
Philly
but-
Fashions, R.I.P.
Yeah, they're gone. I guess no one's gonna really miss them. I kind of miss them.
I miss them. They gave it a chance.
Well,
I like just watching the drug deals happen across the street. It
Well,
made me feel
that's-
like I was like an undercover cop.
That's why nobody liked them because of the
Yeah.
drug deals going on in the back room. But
Flagrant open air drug.
I
Wait,
miss.
where were the drug deals? Sorry.
Oh, yeah, downtown Jeanette, Philly Fashions.
Yeah.
It's just this. You would go in the front,
Basically
walk
a
out the back
front.
with the bag.
Oh, really?
Not bag.
Isn't that what they're doing at Cafe Italiano now?
No, Cafe Italiano is a above board business that was killing it this weekend.
Very above board.
Might be getting conned by this damn $20 off scam. I don't like that thing.
Mm.
I really don't like it.
Wait, what is it? $20 off?
I don't want to tell people because I want people to take advantage of it.
One of the local shoppers, they call it, they get mailed out to people's houses and they have like ads and stuff in them.
Mm-hmm.
So the way you pay for the ad is you give a coupon and people go on this website, local shopper or whatever, and they pay $10 and they get $20
it's like
back.
OnlyFans for restaurants. It just shows nudes of our menu.
So
You
you're
get
making
everything for
$10.
free.
Basically is what ends up happening.
Local flavor.
Local flavor. And then they can come into your restaurant and then use that $20 gift certificate.
They pay
to-
10.
They pay 10, they get 20.
Forfeits 10.
I eat $10.
The websites credit them with $20.
But the thing is that $10 that I eat pays for the ad.
But they also take the 10 that when the customer pays the $10, they
Yeah.
get the $20 credit. That
No,
goes to
they're
local
getting-
flavors.
They're getting that too. Yeah.
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 So they're getting $10 off of us. The customer is getting $10 off from us, and we're just getting an ad.
Yeah. An ad I would normally have to pay $600 or $700 for.
And how many people? But we're talking $20. If we get 30 people that take advantage of this,
Well,
we're talking like $600.
$10.
This is the odd
That I'm
kind of
that I'm
campaign where
losing.
we want
That
actually
I'm
less.
losing.
Yes.
So,
No, technically it's 20. If someone comes with a bill,
no.
it's $60. They have two of it. It's two couples. Two couples with $30. Each one has a $30 bill. They each got a local flavor minus $20.
What are you
discount.
gonna-
That's the bullshit.
I
part.
only
If
take
both
$10.
People at a couple are going to use
But
it.
either
but-
if it's only one couple with $30 and
Yeah.
they show it to me, I'm taking $20 off their bill
No,
and selling them
yeah.
a $10 bill.
What happens
right.
when somebody goes
You're
and
right.
takes all their neighbors that aren't going to use them and comes in for a
There,
whole month?
there's a limit.
We had our
There is
first
a limit.
our first potential scam where I noticed that couples were doing. The wife goes and pays the $10 to get the 20. Then and they go as 4. So you got a couple. Both wives do it one time, and then the
Yeah.
husbands do it the second time. So we're knocking $80 off of 2 visits that
Yeah.
they could be spending. They come in with like a couple kids. It's a $120 bill.
Right.
They're only paying 44.
So
We're kind of
I eat
eating.
that other. I have to eat the other part of it for the ad.
I haven't seen any of the ads though costing upwards $600. It's usually like more like in the $200, $300 range.
Well, it depends what you're buying. I mean, if you're buying a full page ad.
What's the
then-
free drink?
You got
How
a
much does it
full
cost to
page?
put the free drink out there?
That's just a coupon.
Do you have to pay to get
No,
to say a
I
place?
mean, I
on-
had to pay. I had to pay for that ad, and I only pay like $300 for that.
Yeah,
one.
like that makes sense.
Yeah,
But you took
But,
out a full ad, like a full page?
It was a half page, but I bought it in multiple booklets.
Yeah.
So like each booklet was like $300. So I think total it was like $600 or $700. So
I'm watching the local flavor like a hawk.
Yeah.
I don't trust the site.
well, what I
don't
think
trust
I'm gonna it's good because it brings people in,
It
like to
does.
like watch
and,
for this
and
kind
people,
of thing.
and we've
you
been
know.
busier. We had a busy
it's-
weekend, so how many of those are people that would not
Yeah.
have came in without? That's
So I mean, it's all
we don't
part
have
of the
we don't have a way to figure out that math.
it's
Though.
all part of the marketing strategy, you know.
Yeah. Expand the brand as much as possible.
Yeah. But I think what
Where
I'm
do
going
I
to do
get-
is I'm going to go every other on it.
Where do
Like,
I
the
get
next
one
time
of
I
these?
do it, I'm going to not.
It's an
take
app.
local
Download
flavor.
local
Yeah,
flavor.
Local flavor.
Local flavor.
And there's a bunch of restaurants on there. Like it's a thing.
I'll show it to you, Craig.
Like
My phone is the camera. I forgot.
like Persicetti's is on there. I mean,
yeah, you
there's,
gotta
like,
let me know.
there's-
So I
No,
come
but
in.
here's my thing. When
So you can get on it.
Alec, when you first showed this to me, there were like 5 or 6 business doing this 2010 scam. Now when I tune it on, it's only a couple, and the next one is
gotta go to the
10
right.
miles away. That's what I'm saying. It quickly goes to we're selling safe and secure clearances, Black Sheep Bar and Grill. They're totally different. This 2010 thing,
Black Sheep Bar and Grill's pretty close.
is it?
Yeah, it's in like Irwin.
Pretty close, is it, Irwin? All right, here you go, Craig.
Me and Austin are gonna come in and both use them.
There's the. You can scroll through it if you want to look at the offer.
We got it. $10. Yeah.
You pay 10, you get 20.
And it's Alec forfeits all 20. I don't like it. I get it. We're gonna see how it works out. I feel like we can figure out a smarter way to advertise. Last
Wait, I'm
question.
confused as how they get paid.
$10.
So they pay $10.
The customer.
The customer
Craig,
does.
you download this app. You
Right.
pay $10. You get a $20 gift card for Cafe
Right,
Italiano.
right. And then I come into you.
I press redeem on your phone. You come into me
I get
at the
a $20
register.
meal for free. Right? For
You,
free?
you get $20. Yeah.
$20 off.
So if I come in
$20
and
gift
just
certificate.
so if I pay $10,
Mm-hmm.
I get a $20 gift certificate, come in, get a meal for free. How do you make money?
Well, I'm paying for my ad.
By giving up $20?
Yes.
That's the payment for the ad. Alec doesn't have to pay actual cash out of register for the ad. He's just gonna, if they use it, he's gonna lose some money off of their order. The goal is they'll like their food and come back.
Right.
The goal is it's one
Well,
and
the
done.
goal is also
you
that,
can only
like,
use it on your phone one time. It's like a redeem.
Not enough people use it that it wouldn't have. Like if that ad actually did cost $500,
Which I
and I
don't.
only have 10 people come in and use it, then I'm saving money because
For security
I wouldn't
risk
be
though,
paying
Alec,
out
I
for
don't
all
like
of
that
it.
we can't take when I press on their phone. I like when they should have to print it out.
yeah.
Like I want to keep it so I know for sure someone came
Well, if
in,
they do
printed
it-
this out, and I'll store it under the
If
cash
they
register.
redeem it on their app, it's actually better because the sales rep told me if they print it out, I should actually go into the computer and say that they did it because that might not like check a box for them to like reuse the coupon again. So then it's just like you're fucked either way. So
I don't like that. I get it. But
I don't know. It was an
we're
experiment.
we're
We're
testing out.
gonna see how it goes. You know.
I think it'd be better off getting a bunch of hookers.
I
They
mean,
can run up and down the streets there and get people to come.
the Gentlemen's Club. We could do it upstairs.
Makes a lot of sense to me.
Gentlemen's Club upstairs. That's a good idea.
Gentlemen's Club.
Gentlemen's.
Gentlemen's
Should we just go full on illegal speakeasy or
It doesn't go.
we gotta
poker
say.
games?
We gotta
Just,
say.
We
just
gotta
hide
say-
in plain
we
sight.
gotta
We'll,
put- we
we'll
gotta
put a
poker
neon
table.
sign above the diner sign.
We slipped in the diner talk. But
Yeah, no,
let's-
and we'll
let's wrap it
have
up
one here. Last
Yeah,
subject:
let's get-
cinema independent. I have one theory on that. I'd like to say if you guys don't have anything.
Nothing. Go.
Um,
Five seconds.
Don't know what
She
it
was
is.
about to get primaried by the
30
Democrats.
seconds.
She was
girl.
about to get. She's the Arizona senator. She was about to get primaried by the Democrats. She said, "Screw you, Democrats. I'm going to run as independent. If you want to run another candidate, split our ticket in two and give it to the Republican. Then fuck you too." And that was, to me, the power play of the week.